Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel and welcome to my review of WWE Clash in Paris. My usual caveat to this video is remember I don't do like a play-by-play. I just try to tell you about as much stuff as I can remember. I just kind of give you my basic reaction. And another reminder, if you didn't see my picks and predictions video, I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this again because of the stupid ass ESPN deal. I'm just being honest. So we're going to make this a good one just in case it is the last one for a little while. Quick overall reaction. I really enjoyed it. I think WWE knew that this being the last Peacock show, a lot of people were going to be tuning in because not a lot of people are going to have the ESPN deal. They're still going to go with it. Like, they're not going to suddenly stop the ESPN deal. So they did what they could for what is classified as a B show, but I don't think it had that aura about it. The France crowd really helped make the show feel like a big deal. So I enjoyed the show overall. I saw a couple people not too happy about it. I saw one of my absolute favorite content creators say they didn't like it and say some things that I'll talk about. But if you're still calling certain very popular, very over professional wrestlers something Hogan, you really need to stop watching wrestling because you have no clue what that phrase means. But anyway, before we get into that later on, let's start with this. Once again, my head is covering the cool part of the background. But starting off the show was Bronson Reed against Roman Reigns. And this was awesome. Like, I said it during my predictions that I thought this match was going to be really good. I was really looking forward to this match. I'm a huge fan of both guys. The only problem, and I think a lot of people knew this, was that there was no jeopardy for Roman. Roman's just kind of in that upper echelon nowadays where Bronson could have beat him, but it wouldn't have made a lot of sense on a show like this without a bunch of shenanigans. And I'll give the match a lot of credit for that. It didn't have any shenanigans, and I thought that helped the match massively. It helped the show. The show didn't have a whole lot of shenanigans during matches overall. There were 2 matches with shenanigans, which again we will get to. I'm again sorry about my voice and I keep sniffling stupid Tennessee weather. But this was a really good representation, a really good showing for Bronson's size and strength. Because even though Roman Reigns is in that upper echelon, he just, he spent most of this match having a hard time taking Bronson down, or picking Bronson up for that matter. He tried to do a Samoan drop at one time, and Bronson just, boom, dropped on top of him. Had a lot of good moments for Bronson, for sure. Again, I never thought Bronson Reed was going to beat Roman Reigns. I thought it was really cool that we gave Bronson Reed the dive. Because Roman does a dive too, but they both don't do them that often. So I was curious on who would get it, and it was Bronson, and I thought that was really cool. It's always cool to see a guy the size of Bronson Reed do a dive. But in the end, I believe it was a top rope Samoan drop that led into the spear that ended the match. Roman wins, obviously, like I said. The rest, it's the aftermath, really is what we need to talk about. Because as good as the match was, the aftermath was so much better for several reasons. But after the matchup, Roman gets back in the ring after celebrating on the announce table. On one of the 2 announce tables, there was the Michael Cole, Wade Barrett, and then a French announce table. Which, side note, I always like that. I think it's really cool that wherever they go, they have that announce team with them. And other side note, the set looked so good. I'm so used to WWE just putting a big screen and maybe a cool logo that them just putting that, like, Eiffel Tower light up thing was just, it was awesome. I had to get those out of the way. But he comes in the ring. Paul Heyman is begging for his life, basically, because that's who Roman's staring at. He gives him his shoes back, and then Roman puts him in the front choke, that front chancery choke he does. I thought he was going to have the shoes in his hand and Superman punch him, but he chokes out Paul Heyman. He goes to the American, let's talk it, speaking announce table, and out of nowhere, Braun Breaker shows up, and you don't see him at all, you just see the spear, spears him through that announce table, throws him in the ring, and Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker kill Roman Reigns. They proceed to destroy the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, OTC, whatever you want to call him. It was amazing, I think, the way they did this. I think Bronson he hit a tsunami, then he hit another tsunami, or maybe it was just the one tsunami before they were trying to walk Reigns out, and then Braun, it's so hard, why? Ran into that running spear, which always looks cool. He'll never do it as good as he did to Carlito, but he did the running spear running down the rampway, then another tsunami, then Jey Uso showed up, which I joked about a little bit how he showed up kind of late, but of course he did. Roman told him to stand on his own 2 feet, and he was preparing for the main event later. He has a world title match to prepare for. But he shows up, starts helping Roman, gets speared anyway, and then Roman takes a tsunami while he's strapped to a gurney in the ring, or at least the backboard, not the full gurney. So Roman took, I think, 3 tsunamis at least, maybe 4. He took a couple spears. He's out for a while. I would hazard a guess he's going to do some fighting in the streets for a while. If you know, you know. If you don't know, look it up. But this was a really good angle. Writing Roman off TV by having them destroy him like this. It's not something you see Roman Reigns do. Roman Reigns doesn't get destroyed like that, and he certainly doesn't go out on a stretcher very often. And the angle would continue shortly thereafter, where Adam Pearce would, you know Adam Pearce, all he ever does is scream. And he screamed at Braun and Bronson that they're banned from the building, and if they come back, they will be suspended without pay. So he threw them out. They're gone. Seth's alone in the main event because Roman went to the hospital. Paul went to the hospital. I mean, Roman doesn't work with Seth, obviously, but Roman Reigns went to the hospital, and they sent Paul Heyman to the hospital. So the Vision is gone, and the Oracle is gone. But they've done the damage. They've taken out Roman Reigns and hurt Jey Uso just a few hours before his main event. So overall, really, really good. My wife had a small complaint, and I'm only bringing it up because in hindsight, she was probably right. It did feel like it went on for fucking ever. Now, I get it. This was the big angle of the whole show. This angle was going to set up the rest of the show because for the rest of the night, everyone's only going to be thinking, well, does that mean Seth's going to retain his title, or is he going to lose his title? Most of us figured there'd be a new member of the Vision. We will talk about it, trust me. But I didn't think it went on too long personally, but I can see where that would come from because they kept extending the walk-offs, right? Like every time someone would hit a move on Roman, they'd walk away and come back and walk away and come back. But it was still, I want to point out that it is not a big complaint. I'm not sitting here giving the match -2 stars. The match was awesome. The angle was incredible. I love the fact that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are getting these opportunities to take out someone as popular and as big as Roman Reigns. And it really did set up the question in everyone's mind, okay, what's going to happen in the main event? I don't think there's a soul out there that thought that Seth was going to lose the world title because of this. But we all knew he had to come up with something else. So we were all curious. But short, I also said short version, to tie it all up in a nice bow, I really liked the match. I was a big fan of the aftermath because it left us all questioning what happens next. The bad backgrounds continue as it's always hard to find the right thing for this. That's Uncle Howdy behind me because the next matchup was the Street Profits trying to win the WWE Tag Team titles, SmackDown Tag Team titles, from the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. It was fine, right? It was exactly what you kind of expected. The new story, the new thing is that Bo Dallas is trying to drive a wedge between the SmackDown Tag Teams, Mello and Miz and the Street Profits. So there was a little bit of miscommunication at the start of this match, which I really liked. Angelo Dawkins was like, I got this. And Montez was like, no, I got this. There were some blind tags that they didn't want, which meant the Wyatts had the upper hand for a little bit, but it's the Street Profits. Eventually they got back on. Really good stuff from both guys. Angelo Dawkins, I don't talk about this enough. He probably has the best hot tag in the business right now. I have a really hard time finding anyone else who's as good as him. That hot tag comes in and he just goes. Montez Ford did his really cool over the turnbuckle dive, over the post dive that he does when Eric Rowan just stared at Angelo Dawkins, and that allowed Joe Gacy to take him into the crowd, I think, and then Tez did that dive. But then this scene is what led to the finish. After they had taken down, I believe that's Lumis back there, they threw him back in the ring, and then Nikki Cross grabbed Tez's foot, and the referee was being distracted by Lumis, Uncle Howdy hits the Sister Abigail. They throw Montez Ford back in the ring, and they hit that suplex into a powerbomb neck breaker thing. It looks really cool, which is called the Plague, I think Michael Cole said. I love it. Michael Cole was like, they told me it was called the Plague. Like, they told me. They demanded I knew. I love the idea that the Wyatt Six grabbed Michael Cole like Heidenreich and was like, it's called the Plague, Michael. So the Wyatt Six retain. Again, kind of saw that coming. It was a good match. It was fine. I don't totally know how I feel about the Wyatts using these tactics to win matches. I get it. They're a faction. They're spooky on the wookie on the dookie, but I don't know. They're not a heel faction, but they're also not baby faces. I know this sounds stupid. I'm kind of stumbling all over myself, but the Wyatts are just supposed to be scary. Like Eric Rowan staring at Dawkins while also incredibly silly is spooky. It's the big dude staring a hole into you that's not even in the match. Nikki Cross grabbing Montez Ford's foot and then Uncle Howdy straight up hitting his Sister Abigail. I didn't mind it in the TLC match at SummerSlam because that was always going to be a huge schmoz. There was a minimum of 12 people in that match. So, of course, there was going to be extra interference. I don't think it's always necessary. I hope we don't fall into a pattern with the Wyatts that this has to happen all the time. Like, I understand when the Vision does it. I understand when the MFTs do it. I even understand when the Secret Harvest starts getting involved with matches like that. The Wyatts, I don't think need it. I'm going to let it slide this time. Like, it didn't bother me, but it's noticeable. So, the Wyatt Six retain the tag team titles. I'm really excited to see what they do next. The SmackDown tag division is on fire. Next up, I'm not even going to mention the backgrounds anymore. If you're watching this, you already know what it is. I use YouTube, and I just use WWE's YouTube page, and I pick a spot and hit pause. But up next was the Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch Intercontinental Championship matchup. In case some of you were wondering, when it comes to the last match, probably wondering, Jared didn't mention when Joe Gacy went to use Dexter Lumis as a weapon and Montez Ford just kind of fell down instead of taking the bump. I don't fucking care. Okay? I need to make this clear to you because there was a mistake, I'm not using the B word, in this match as well. I'm not a huge time content creator, but as a content creator for pro wrestling, there are sometimes things I feel like I have to talk about. I do not feel like it's necessary to bring up mistakes, okay? I work for a moving company. Do you know how many times I have sat something down and it has broken? Or I have picked something up and dropped it. People make mistakes. I still have that job. I certainly didn't get mauled by hundreds, or well, tens of thousands of people, or just thousands of people, or hundreds of people online about it. Okay, I didn't have. Imagine that. Imagine you were at work, right? You work on a forklift. Let's say you work on a forklift, and you pick something up with your forklift, and it tilts and it falls over and hits the ground. And instead of your boss, or your coworker going, "Hey man, be careful," 150 people run in and start calling you slurs, calling you names, saying you deserve to be fired, saying you've never been good at your job. See what I mean? It's stupid. So shut the hell up. Yes, I'm going to talk about it. Nikki Bella went for what I think was supposed to be a version of the disaster kick. Becky wasn't in position. I'm not blaming either competitor. Becky either went too far out or Nikki jumped too early. It doesn't matter. Mistakes happen. Rant over. This match was also fine. Once again, pretty obvious outcome. I like the finish. I like that cool backslide that Becky Lynch does. It is just a roll-up, but it looks cool. Nikki Bella looked great here. I think that a lot of people have undermined her just because she's Nikki Bella. Talking about how I feel about Nikki Bella, I was looking at my Facebook memories today, and I made a post about 13 years ago, I can't remember. Whenever Nikki Bella was about to break the record for the Divas Championship, and I called her a bunch of names. I said horrible things about her on my fucking social media. So I remember not really caring for her either at one point, but I understand the popularity she has now. And I think she looked really good here. Yes, she missed one move. But otherwise, I think this was a fine match. Nikki Bella looked really good. It was just a blow-off mini feud for Becky Lynch. I don't know what she does next. In my picks and predictions, I said that I figured that she would lose the Intercontinental title to Bayley down the line. I mentioned WrestlePalooza, blah, 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 blah. Lyra Valkyria is still involved in that, I would think, because they keep interviewing her after Bayley has these voices in her head that we can all hear. So, we'll talk more about that later. I have to keep saying that. Obviously, this video is full of fucking spoilers, but I have to just, I don't want to talk about it until we get to it. Overall, a fine match. Becky was never going to lose, and I'm excited. I'm excited about what's next. Remember that scene there? That is an accolade on top of whiskey barrels. Up next, Sheamus, Rusev. I have to say it again. Good old-fashioned Donnybrook. I'm sorry. Again, it's just a street fight with whiskey barrels, and there's a bar. You can kind of see it over there, like a bar setup, and other weapons, shillelaghs, chairs, kendo sticks, tables. Slim Jim tables, as always, the Slim Jim tables. This was awesome. It was every bit as fun as I expected it to be. It remained the match I was looking forward to the most on the night, just because I knew these two were going to kick each other's ass. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I've heard them say the phrase, "You never hit anybody as hard as you hit your best friend." I'm assuming these two are best friends, because boy, did they beat the shit out of each other. Chairs, kendo sticks, shillelaghs, like I said, Slim Jim tables, whiskey barrels. At one point, Sheamus was thrown through the side of the bar. You can kind of see it there. It's kind of caved in. Right after this, accolade on top of the whiskey barrels, Sheamus would hit a white noise off of them through two tables, Slim Jim tables. In the end, though, Rusev would break a shillelagh over Sheamus's back, and then would do the accolade with the shillelagh in Sheamus's mouth. He did that version of it where he pulls himself back and he lays on his back and he's like stretching to as much as he can. Sheamus tapped out, which Michael Cole said might only be like the second time he's ever actually tapped. Like, he mentioned he's passed out before. He's lost by submission by passing out, but Sheamus almost never actually taps. So that made Rusev look amazing. This went exactly the way I wanted it to, not prediction-wise, but pick-wise. I was 4 for 4 at this point. But this was awesome. I loved it. Sheamus looked great. They also did a really good brogue kick, 1-2 kick out, I thought. Like, even Wade Barrett pointed out just how on point the brogue kick was. Like, Sheamus kicked Rusev in the face. And Rusev kicked out at 2. It was really good. I'd go out of my way to watch this match if I were you, just because of how much fun it was. It was a barrel of laughs, no pun intended. Again, just the carnage and the welts and the bruises and the lines from the kendo sticks that these two men got. Really good stuff from these two. I'm excited to see what Rusev does next. I've mentioned it many times. He needs to continue to be pushed up the ladder. Maybe after AJ and Dom's feud is over, Rusev can go for the IC title. The world title picture is a little cramped right now, so I wouldn't put him there. But really, really good stuff from Rusev and Sheamus, and very, very happy with the outcome. Up next is the greatest of all time, do the thing, John Cena against Logan Paul. I chose this because he was just celebrating with the crowd. I'm going to say something that I know a lot of people aren't going to like. I said this to my wife last night. I said the exact sentence right beforehand. A lot of people aren't going to want to hear this. This was probably John Cena's best match of his retirement tour. I do not see a reason to dispute that unless you just don't like Logan Paul, which I totally understand. I don't like Logan Paul as a person either. I've said this 1,000 times in my videos. Just because he's a bad person does not mean he's a bad wrestler. And calling him a bad person is, you remember what he did in Japan and the whole NFT thing, and, he scammed people about something else. I don't know all of it. I try not to pay attention. But as a professional wrestler, he is incredible. In this match, he wrestled a John Cena-style matchup, which is saying a lot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch this match. Go watch any other Logan Paul match, and then go watch this match, and you'll tell there's a difference. There wasn't any crazy bumps. There wasn't any table spots. He didn't hit the pulverizer. I did mention that he probably wouldn't, but I would have liked to see it. There was a lot of... John Cena gave Logan Paul a lot. I think it took 3 AAs to beat Logan Paul. Maybe that's a little too much. only because now Logan Paul is going to be seen as a guy that can kick out 3 AAs. So whatever he does next, he's going to be seen as the guy that took John Cena to the limit. So, you know, WWE hopefully knows what they're doing. I mean, Michael Cole mentioned a million times he's a future world champion, and he is. It sucks for a lot of people to know that because you don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. The people that haven't figured out that pro wrestling is a work are screaming online about how he's not a real wrestler and blah, 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 blah. But he is. Like, there's a guy I've met and I respect. He wrestles around this local scene a lot. I'm not going to say his name because he's a good guy, but he is one of the people that went out of his way to be like, Logan Paul will never be one of us because he was a celebrity. And I'm like, yeah, but he's really, really good at this. I'm sorry, I didn't realize she was over there. I'm still recording. I meant to hit pause. Anyway, Logan Paul is too good at this to sit there and say he's not a wrestler. He is a wrestler, okay? Just because you don't like him, I mean, again, like I said a minute ago, I don't either. I don't think he's a good person by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a damn good wrestler. And I'll say it again, John's best match of his retirement tour, bar none. Like, he's wrestled Randy Orton, he's wrestled Cody Rhodes, and he's done all this other stuff. It's just the truth, right? It's just the truth. Again, really, really good match. I just hope WWE knows what they did with having him kick out of 2 AAs, having John Cena have to do all these things. It's really long. Maybe they could have cut off 5 or 10 minutes, but trust me, it's worth your time. Again, if you don't know what I mean by a John Cena match, go check this out. I do think Logan Paul is going to be world champion probably by next year, maybe even at WrestleMania. Maybe next year's WrestleMania is where he gets crowned. I just would not be surprised. But absolutely awesome match, but John Cena wins. Didn't see that coming. Last but certainly not least was the Fatal 4-Way match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defending against LA Knight, CM Punk, and Jey Uso. I do want to talk about the match just a little bit. I want to talk about this until the cows come home, until the next blue moon, for whatever the fucking phrases are. I can talk about it for that long. But the match itself was awesome. I really liked how the match started, for one. They were all 4 circling each other, kind of, and CM Punk just super kicked. It was the best super kick he could throw at the time. Jey Uso, a little bit of payback. But then from that point forward, Fatal 4-Way match. You know it? Fatal 4-Way match. Everybody beat up everybody, and then everybody beat up everybody else, and then everybody beat up Seth Rollins. Then went to create a table for Seth Rollins, and Jey Uso in the middle of it, super kicked LA Knight, super kicked CM Punk. Eventually, LA Knight would put CM Punk through that table, Slim Jim table. It was just, I mean, it was awesome stuff. They fought in the crowd, like Punk and Rollins fought in the crowd, or it was Jey Uso and Seth Rollins fought in the crowd for a while. Then LA Knight showed up in the crowd. I don't know what else to tell you. It was really good stuff. Everybody hitting finishers. At one point, LA Knight was in complete control. I think on 2 or 3 occasions, he just kept taking everybody out. Lots of near falls that were just kickouts, which I thought was cool. I kept expecting someone to break up the pins. There was a really good moment where Jey Uso, I think, was about to win, and CM Punk broke it up with the Macho Man elbow drop. Great stuff. But we do have to get to the finish. So, LA Knight was out. Jey Uso was out. I can't remember what happened to who and who happened to what. I'm trying to think. I think LA Knight was put through the announce table. Maybe that sounds right. Yeah, he went to do his elbow drop to Rollins and he missed and went crashing through the announce table. The point is, LA Knight was out. Jey Uso was out. Seth Rollins had stomped both of them. They were both on the floor recovering. He stomped them both. He stomps CM Punk. Punk kicks out. He puts CM Punk's head in a chair. Says, I hate you. I hate your family. I hate your life. I hate your face. I hate your shoes. I hate, he's like, I want to kill you. I want you dead and to never wrestle again forever. So he goes to stomp him in a chair. He misses. He stomps the chair and hurts his leg. Punk hits a GTS. And I think Punk started doing this in AEW. Please correct me if I'm wrong, politely. But he does that thing where he does a GTS kind of near the middle of the ring and the guy sells it by hitting the ropes and Punk falls to his knees and the guy falls on Punk's shoulders. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. He stands up to do the second GTS. A person in a hood and a face mask comes in, low blows him. Before this was revealed, before the reveal happened, I need to tell you a completely true story. As Seth Rollins was coming to the ring, because before this match, they interviewed Seth Rollins, and he did this big screaming promo, I don't need anybody, I can do this all myself, blah, 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 blah. But he also mentioned that he's always 2 steps ahead. Mm-hmm. And while he was coming to the ring, I said, I have been wanting Becky Lynch to do stuff with Seth on TV again. I would love her to join the Division, and maybe that would give us an excuse for AJ Lee to come back, and we could do that whole feud. But I said it as, I think I laughed as I was saying it. I said it as like a, oh, that'd be cool. Ha, 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 ha. Look at the background. It fucking happened. Of course, it was Becky Lynch. She reveals that it was her. Seth Rollins hits a stomp, 1, 2, 3. He retains his title. Becky Lynch is now a member of the Vision. I think she tweeted something out with hashtag the Vision. I think she said we run this company, which is cool. This was awesome. I could not love this anymore if I tried. I have been wanting this for such a long time. Like, the last time Seth and Becky were on TV together, I think it was 5-6 years ago, something like that. And it was fine. They did that feud with Baron Corbin, where Baron Corbin hit the end of days on Becky Lynch, which means she's probably going to eat a GTS. Oh, I don't know why I'm excited about that. But it's so good. Afterwards, during the post-show, Punk was walking to the back, and a fan had a sign that said, CM Punk, bring back AJ Lee. And he kind of looked at it, looked at the crowd, looked at it again, stared at it, stroked his beard, gave it back, looked at the crowd, did the little hands on the hips. Big E even mentioned, he's like, I know CM Punk has a wife, and she used to wrestle, so I think we're about to get it. A lot of people, I'm almost shocked by the amount of people going, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening, stop talking about it, you're stupid. I'm like, were you not watching the same show I was, or did you just immediately cut off as soon as, like, that happened? There are people that do that. I used to be one of them. People that, like, as soon as the bell rings and here's your winner, they just end the show. They go back, oh, nothing else is going to happen. And people like that are really fucking stupid because you would have missed all of that, like I just said, all the post-show stuff. I'm not guaranteeing AJ Lee is going to come back, but reports have now come out that WWE has been in talks about, they've pitched ideas for AJ Lee to come back. They're not worried about her coming back because she's in such good shape. And if CM Punk can come back after that long and still be this good, imagine how good AJ Lee will be. So I would not be surprised if within the next few weeks, AJ Lee returns and we get this match at WrestlePalooza. Obviously, if you can't tell, there's 2 things I've been really emotional about in this video. That people making mistakes and y'all getting mad about mistakes at work like you've never made a fucking mistake at work. And this. I'm super excited about this. Overall, the match itself was fine. Much like a lot of this show, there was never any jeopardy. Seth was always going to retain. I picked CM Punk in my picks and predictions because I'll always pick CM Punk just for the hell of it, to make things a little different on this channel. But we all knew Rollins was going to retain. I never truly predicted or guessed Becky Lynch. I just kind of threw it out there as a funny haha, and oh my god, are we not joking anymore? So thank you everybody so much for watching. Like I said, I said it at the start, I'll tell you it again, overall, it was a great show. I guess the matches 2 and 3, I think it was, the tag title match, the Intercontinental title match, I'm not going to say they fell flat, but they were matches where you knew what the outcome was going to be. The whole rest of the show was awesome. If I had to tell you to watch one match, I couldn't, because I'm torn between John Cena versus Logan Paul and the Donnybrook, just because they're both so good. But definitely, I would watch the show again. It's really good, and of course, it's the only show I can watch again because I cannot emphasize how much I am not planning on paying $30 a fucking month for ESPN. It's not happening. I don't watch sports. I watch wrestling, so I'm not going to pay you $30 a month to watch just one show. If I start making good money, I am looking for a job. I am job hunting right now, like I'm going to switch jobs soon. Maybe, because the only argument against it I would have is, well, if I'm going to pay $50 a month for a pay-per-view, why not just go ahead and pay $30 for it? So different conversation for another day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments down below. What did you think of Clash in Paris? Please, for the love of God, don't leave comments down here just screaming about dumb shit like I said, oh, Logan Paul is not a wrestler, or complaining about the mistakes. I'm never saying the B word again on this channel. I refuse. But until next time, I certainly hope this isn't the last time we do one of these. This is JT Channel. I am JT. I will see you in the next one.